Growing up in the UK, English roast was Britain's national dish. Whether it was roast beef, roast lamb, roast chicken, everyone loved that. Everyone looked forward to that on a Sunday. Times have changed. Now, chicken tikka masala took over just recently from fish and chips as Britain's national dish. They're all comfort foods, whether it's the chicken tikka masala, whether it's the fish and chips, whether it's toad in the hole and bangers and mash, all of that traditional British cuisine. I'm here today at the Londoner in Colleyville, Texas, and I want to make my version of the chicken tikka masala. But my version, I'm going to serve it instead of with rice, with a bubble and squeak, an Indian bubble and squeak, where I can put lots of different seeds and turmerics and thing in there to make it my own dish. And the combination of the two together is incredible. Well, the argument about whether chicken tikka masala came from Glasgow, London, or India, one thing we do know is the chicken tikka part does come from India, and that's the part we start with first. I've got all of my ingredients here going into the dish, and it's the amount of ingredients that makes the dish so incredible. And every single ingredient brings something to the table. It really does. Whether it's that warmth of the chili, the citrus of the lemon juice in there, the garlic or the ginger, everything all comes through, so you can't leave any of it out. I'm going to put them all into the bowl and mix them all together. So the chili, the paprika, the cardamom, the cumin, some oil, garam masala, ginger, garlic, lemon juice, yogurt, and salt. Mix them all together. And that's my tikka paste. Now, with the chicken, when I'm doing this dish, I like to use the chicken thighs. And I take the chicken thighs, I like to leave some of the fat on there that renders on the grill or the stove, and then open them up so that they get completely covered. And I've got boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They all go into my marinade, and I can just mix all of this together. It's going to go in the refrigerator for at least 6 hours, preferably overnight, to let those flavors really get into the chicken. While the chicken's marinating, I'm going to start making the bubble and squeak. I've got some mashed potatoes and some chopped cabbage, and I'm going to add some salt, some garlic paste, a little turmeric that's going to give it a nice color, and we'll get that combination of the Indian bubble and squeak into there as well. And then here, from my dabber, I've actually got my panchphoron, which I'm going to spoon in there too. Panchphoron is Indian 5-spice, and it's made up of 5 different seeds. It has cumin and brown mustard, fenugreek, nigella, and fennel seeds in there. And all those seeds come together to give that amazing nuttiness, the little aniseed flavor, that I can mix all of this together and make my incredible Indian flavored bubble and squeak. Once it's all mixed in, I can then start making my little patties. What I like to do is use a mold and go into that mold Then I can refrigerate those till I start to cook the chicken. The chicken's been marinating now for 24 hours, and now it's time to cook it before we make the sauce. Traditionally it will be cooked in a tandoori clay oven, but you can cook it in a skillet, on the grill. As it's starting to cook and that smoke is giving off those incredible flavors, I let it sit on there for about 5 minutes and then we're going to turn it. A little char on the chicken is fantastic. It's the caramelization there of the ginger and the garlic, and when that goes into the sauce, it's going to give such a unique taste. Once the chicken's cooked, we can take it off the heat and let it rest a little while we put together the sauce. The next part is making the masala sauce. I'm going to add some oil to the pan and some chopped onions. I'll saute those onions with a little salt until they start to soften. I want to try and cook them without colour. I don't want any bitterness in there at all. Once the onions have softened, then I can add my tomatoes. Then ground coriander, garlic, turmeric, paprika, chili. Stir all those in together, and finally some cream. Look how gorgeous that is. It smells amazing, and all those flavors for this masala sauce coming together. Once it's all mixed in and it's been simmering for about 5 minutes or so, I just finally add my lemon juice. And finally, we just need to add the chicken. And I'm just going to let that simmer away and let that masala sauce really get into the chicken. While it's doing that, let's make the bubble and squeak. I've got the bubble and squeak cooking away now. I put a little oil on there first, some corn oil to get it nice and hot, and then a little butter on the top. The butter's going to really brown the bottoms, and then we'll flip them over and do the same on the other side and let them cook through. I've got a nice crust on the top of my bubble and squeak, and I put some naan bread on there just to soften slightly. My chicken has been marinating and just sitting there in this beautiful bath of masala sauce. All we need to do now is plate. Let's take one of our bubble and squeak and place it in the center there. Then some chicken. with a little sauce. A little naan bread garnish on the side. Some mint raita. And cilantro to finish. Chicken tikka masala with an Indian bubble and squeak naan bread. Looks amazing, but it doesn't matter what I think. Let's see what the customers at the Londoner think. So chicken tikka masala is Britain's national dish now, and so I wanted to create this dish and then put my own twist on it with an Indian bubble and squeak. So I'd love you to try it and let me know what you think.
Wow.
Delicious.
That is a delicious bubble.
It really is comfort food, isn't it? A nice combination in there as well to go with a good beer. And here at the Londoner in Colleyville, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, right?